Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Honkai Star Rail today. And this is an exciting one because I kind of want to go over the closed beta and talk a little bit about the game, what you can expect, everything from the combat to the items to the quests to the story, stuff like that. So before we get into this, I just want to preempt this saying this is probably the most fun I've had playing a gacha game in a long time. Probably ever. It has a really sick story that I absolutely love. The characters are fantastic. Even side NPCs are voiced. Everything is great. It almost feels like cheating. Like it feels like a casual, regular RPG you would find on a console, just with gacha mixed into it. The other thing I want to mention is this game is basically Genshin Impact. Everything is the same. The character design are the same. Some of the voices are the same. The animations are the same. The NPCs are the same. The voice, everything, the UI, the warp system especially. So we'll talk about that too. It is essentially Genshin Impact with an Epic 7 style combat, but the combat is way better than Epic 7's. This is the most fun turn-based combat I've ever participated in for many, many reasons. So let's just go about this. So the main difference is if you've played Genshin and this is obviously number one, the combat, and number two, the exploration. So we have pretty typical exploration here. You can do what you normally do. You can run around. You can switch your characters exactly the same hotkeys, same everything. But what you can't do is jump. That's me hitting spacebar. You can't jump, you can't glide, you can't do anything like that right now. So the exploration is a lot more controlled than it would be in a Genshin Impact. That's my biggest complaint about the game, but it's hard to be like, this isn't Genshin Impact, so yeah, you get docked for it. So I would love it if I could jump, I would love it if I could explore better, but it's just not something they've allowed yet. Who knows, maybe it's in the future, but right now that's something you can't do. But there's still infinite amounts of things to interact with. Like there's a monitor there we can interact with. We've already picked up most of the stuff here. There's so many things. You can talk to lampposts and garbage cans. The interaction and the story has been fantastic. So probably the most important thing y'all want to know about is the pull system. And unfortunately for you, it is the exact same as Genshin from what I'm aware. It's the same pity. Every 10 warps you get a 4-star or above. There's two separate pulls. There's this one here, the special Star Rail Pass, and then there's the regular Star Rail Pass, and then you can buy things with Stellar Jade, which is the exact same. We've got the exchange shop here. They have the same 20 for 1. The Embers exchange, you can purchase 5 of each every month. It is entirely the same. So keep that in mind if that's something you didn't like. You're not going to like it here either. We don't know if we'll get more or less. So far, I haven't gotten very many pulls, and this is the start of the game. So that's kind of worrying, but it is what it is. It's what I signed up for. It's what I know. The other thing is the stamina system. So it's the same. It is almost entirely the same. So if we go warp to the parlor car, which is our main area, we can talk to this NPC here. And what do you know? There's a Trailblaze level. This is exactly the same as Adventure level. You can see the different levels here. You gain different rewards for each level. Yeah, so I just gained enough here for 1. So we get all this. The fuel is resin. So this is quite literally the exact same system. So same amount of resin regen as far as I know. Same cost to go into things. Same relationship between the amount of resin spent and the amount of experience gained. So that is something to really keep in mind. I'm just going to toss a pull in here, while we wait. Oh, we actually don't have enough. I thought we had enough after that. Yeah, so that is a thing, that you need to be ready for. And then we get the equipment. So let's take a look at the characters here. We've got the same setup as Genshin. We have details here, the stats, the skills they show here. Each character has an ultimate. They have an ability called a technique that they can use outside of combat to initiate. And this kind of does something at the start of the battle. They have a regular basic attack, a skill, and then a passive of sorts. Every character has this exact same setup for the most part. Not for the most part, has literally this exact same setup. Then there are light cones, and light cones are, I forget what they were called in Genshin Impact, but they're basically that. You can use any one you want, but they're only active if you're the correct type of unit. So for example, if we take a look at Nihility up here, can we click up there? No, we can't. Details, there we go. So we can see the different types of units, like Hunt is a single target, Erudition is AoE, Nihility is debuff. So there's a ton of different ones, and they have different sets of artifacts, essentially, like in Epic 7, that are used for different styles, because we've got like 4 stars, 5 stars here, and you do get a lot of them for free, I found. And I've had some pretty sick ones too, like the 3-star ones are really good. This one increases damage dealt from wares to slowed enemies by 48%, which is massive because this guy slows basically all the time. And then we have Traces. These are basically Awakening from Epic 7, but different and more. So we need a ton of things to awaken them. I forget what this is called in Genshin. I haven't played Genshin in a while. So keep that in mind there. Basically, you just get some stat boosts as you do this, and you eventually get some cool stuff. Like we've got 20 more damage here, 20% more. Yeah, so these are just things you get as you unlock different levels. So we can't do this one, for example, because where is one of them? There we go. We can't do this one because it acquires Character Ascension 6. And then we have Relics. This is the equipment setup. I believe this works closer to Epic 7 than it does Genshin. I can't remember if there's 2 slots like this in the middle for other stats. So the outside are basically, we have this, which is a pair of boots in Epic 7. They can be speed main stat here. I'm not sure the rules behind everything if they're the same, but usually when a game copies this sort of thing, they keep the same ideas. And then we have the body here. So the body can have crit damage, HP, defense, attack. So I believe this is the necklace, essentially, because these all have things the necklace can have, and they don't have speed. Then we have the head here, and the head is obviously the same. It's the head is at an Epic 7. It's got flat HP, and all of them are flat HP here. And then we have this one here, which is flat attack. And one thing I do notice here is you can get defense on this piece, so they're not entirely taking it from Epic 7, because Epic 7 you can't roll defense % on your weapon. And then we have the 2 other pieces. These are kind of like wild cards, I guess. They do a bunch of different things closer to Genshin style things, like imaginary damage boost, fire damage boost, defense there, straight up attack, HP. There's tons of different things you can get for this one. And this one here has the same things, but different break effect, which will come into play in the combat. Attack here, defense, and I think those are the 3 I had. Attack, defense, and break effect. Yeah. So essentially the exact same when you level something up. Let's do this one just because. So when you level something up like this, you can do auto add here. And it goes up to 6, and I believe at 6 is when we get... Nope, at 4 is when we get the stat, right? Sorry, I'm still learning this as we go. Okay, so 3 is when we get the stat. So 3 gives us 1 stat here, and then it goes to the 4th stat. That's something different as well. That's more the traditional way things are rolled. And then we go up to 6, and then we get another stat. This will go into one of those 4. Got a flat attack, and then... the same thing repeated here, and it only goes up to 12. It does not go up to 15. Yeah, so keep that in mind when you're leveling stuff up. And finally, we have Eidolon. This is C6, or whatever it's called, the character imprints from Genshin. So each of these do different things. Let's go to this character, because it's the easiest to explain. This is Natasha. She's a healer. Her first duplicate, this is a 4-star unit as well. If she gets hit to under 30% HP, she basically full heals herself once a battle. Her second one gives continuous allies to HP under 30% whenever they heal them. So you can see pretty big power spikes here. Both of these are pretty massive, and I've definitely lived battles because I had these so far in this game. Then we have this one here, which is just skills up, basically more healing, more damage. Then we have another one, which regenerates 5 energy after being attacked, which is also pretty big. It helps power up her special attack, or heal in this case. Then we have another stat boost here, And then we have the another here, which gives another 40% damage, makes her kind of DPS-y, I guess, with her 6. So what I've noticed when I've looked at all these units so far is 1 and 2 always seem pretty powerful. The 1st and 2nd also seem pretty powerful. Then 3 and 5 are always the little bit of a boost here. So like something big, but not super big. 4 is usually something passive-y like this, like not super powerful as this. 1 and 2, and then 6 is usually something that's pretty nutso. Let's take a look at this one here. So this is my single target damage dealer, Su Shang. The first one gets an extra skill point after using a skill when weakness break. That's massive. Next one, 20% reduced damage for 1 turn. Massive. Next one, just stat boost. And then we have 5, which is also the stat boost. Then we have 4, which is 50% increased break effect. So another sort of passive style part of a 4. And then her 6, talent speed boost, can stack up to 2 times. Additionally, after entering battle, immediately gains a stack of speed boost. So 6 is always pretty powerful. 1, 2, always pretty powerful. 3, 5 are just the boosts. And 4 is like a passive. At least what it's been looking like so far. So that's the idea behind the characters and what you can expect for that. As for power level for characters, pretty hard to know right now because we're obviously not in quotes endgame. But I've also found there's only one healer that I have so far, and that's Natasha. You do get her for free. Think of her like a Barbara. And I basically, I don't know what I would do without her if I didn't have her as a healer. I believe there's a 5-star healer by you, but I don't have him. So you're probably going to be having Natasha in basically every start you have. We then have the main character. Spoiler alert, if you don't want story spoiled, but this is kind of obvious. So just like Genshin, the main character will be able to change elements. They start out as like a neutral, I believe, and then the next up is a fire. So neutral is kind of like a semi AoE character, and the fire one is a tank. So they're able to change between different things here. And I forgot how you switch. You just switch. Yeah, we just switch like this. So you can just switch like this. And then it switches her skills. So far, preservation is a lot better than destruction, I've found. Yeah, and I'm assuming as we complete more places, we'll unlock different elements from this. Okay, what else should we talk about? The story, fantastic. The characters are all amazing. There's voices everywhere. Love everything. There's so much text to go through, and most of them, when it's part of the story or even part of side quests, you'll get voiced overed as well. Super, super, super amazing. I love it to death. We have this little thing here. This is also like kind of a challenge mode thing. I forget what they call it in Genshin, but you'll know what it is when you start doing this. It's basically the tower in Epic 7 as well. Get a ton of rewards here. You can see, yeah. Super, super, super important to do those. We have a ton of other things like basic quests here. These aren't really the greatest so far. They've been Omega basic. And then we have the showcase to test out different units, just like in Genshin. You get the trial and then you get the rewards here. And yeah, so let's take a look at this. So I haven't actually done this much. So this is one of the PvE co-op things. So there's no PvP in this game so far, but there is a PvE style thing. So let's just do a real quick combat here. We can get double damage if we don't want to do too many. Let's just target this guy. He's really dangerous, apparently. So, let me actually turn sound up a little bit here. And you do notice we don't actually go straight into the battle because that's where the techniques come into play. So, we want to find somebody, you see at the top here, we want to find somebody that has the light shining because it gives you a little effectiveness, a little bonus at the start. So this is me using this technique and then opening up to a weakness here. So, in combat, we've got the white bar up top. That's great. If you've played Final Fantasy 13, it's that sort of system. So we definitely want to break. So we need to break by using fire, ice, and whatever that other one is. Unfortunately, I don't know how much of that I have. So, yeah, so there's one of them. We get AoE. We'll see this breaks them a little bit here. That's my new 5-star I got. I haven't used him too much. And that's also part of my new 5-star. He adds little bonus stuff to that. And then there's these little hands things that are gonna blow up soon. And you can see, even after we took our turn, we're able to interrupt and use our special. The combat flows extremely well, and also you can play it really easily with a keyboard. It works so well on a keyboard. All the buttons are super intuitive.
Follow my charge.
And yeah, so I love it. I love it so much. It's so much fun. Got an AoE attack here.
Let me through.
And then we have a special.
Show no mercy.
This guy is so cool, by the way. He's so cool.
You're not going anywhere.
So we've almost broken this guy. And you can see, even though this is a... there we go, we got a break. Even though this is turn-based, I have this ability up right here, which is the AoE heal. It's her special, and I can use it anytime, essentially. If, like, 3 enemies are going in a row and I get hit by the first and second and I'm almost dead, I can pop it between the second and third and cut into place. It's really, really cool. Next up, we have the training area. We have our regular daily quests, just like any other game. We've got the operation briefings. I believe there's something like this in Genshin as well. Basically, do the quests, get the rewards. We then have a little place that shows what's all available. This is the resin, and yeah, you can go do all those things, get all the stuff. And you can see here, Trailblaze XP, you get the amount of Trailblaze proportionate to the amount of resin. So for every resin you spend, you get 5 XP. So spend 10, get 50. Spend 30, get 150 here. And the other part that is really cool, my favorite place in the game is a simulated universe, so we can teleport here to World 4. So this works just like...
A few games of chess will while away the time.
How do I explain this? This works like one of those roguelikes, basically. You do stuff, you get bonuses as you do it. There's story in it, there's choices. Different every time, essentially. Really, really enjoy this part of the game, and it's a good way to test out different characters. Have a lot of fun in there. Another thing to do is the story. There are infinity things to read. Where's the button? I still haven't gotten used to where everything is, but there's tons of stuff you can gather everywhere. You can read them. Like, there's so much lore if that's what you're interested in. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say so far outside of there's no guild yet. There's no PvP. If this was just like a console game, I'd be really happy with it, just to give you an example. So if anything's going to bring this down, it is the gacha system. So that's something you're going to have to get used to. The other thing I forgot to mention is the Nameless Honor. So this is whatever it's called in Genshin. The Battle Pass, basically, it's set up the exact same. There are, we can't actually get the Nameless Glory unlocked yet. But you can see when you unlock Nameless Glory, you get a choice of one of these, and I'm assuming these are super powerful, just like in Genshin Impact. That's some sick art here. So let's take a look at the hunt. So increase the wearer's crit rate by 12%. After a critical hit, there's a 12% fixed chance to dispel 1 buff on the enemy. That's pretty sick. And if we take a look at, yeah, so these are obviously pretty good for the characters that would use it. So this is probably going to cost the exact same it costs in Genshin Impact, and I'm guessing the pulls are going to cost the exact same. Yeah. The other cool part is the messaging system. You talk to people in messages. You can get a bunch of story through them. It is super amazing, and I love this part. It's really, really, really hilarious sometimes as well. Yeah, so that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I just wanted to kind of ramble about the game for a little bit and hopefully give you an idea of if you want to play it or if you don't. As I said, personally, I think this is a must play. I think it's amazing. What kept me off of Genshin Impact is the fact that I had to actively play it so much. I don't like actively playing my games all the time. Like, that's more for a console thing for me. So the fact that I can play a Genshin Impact style game with all the qualities and the story and just the high quality design, characters, combat, systems, everything, makes me really happy that I can use it and do auto battling sometimes if I want to, or not worry about having to manually play and break out my controller every time I do it, So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.